Hello, anybody watching. My name is Dylan, and I like to build houses in The Sims 4. Today, I am taking a little break from my Wisteria Lane houses, and I decided to do something a little bit differently. I guess not too differently for me, though, because the first couple houses I built were all based on an animated show, and so is this one. So this house is a loose interpretation of the Simpsons House from the TV show The Simpsons. That's been on, I believe it's been on Fox for like 30 years now. So this house has 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. And like I said, it is a loose interpretation of the very famous and colorful Simpsons house. The reason I call it a loose interpretation is because, unfortunately, we do not have a color wheel in The Sims 4. We've all come to terms with that, but a color wheel would really, really work for this house. This house is definitely one of the most, it's recreated in The Sims 3 a lot because it's like the perfect test for the color wheel that's in Sims 3 and the creative style. In Sims 4, we don't have it, like I said, so you kind of just have to make do. And so some of the things it was a little bit frustrating with this house was that point that I wasn't able to do everything that I wanted to. I had to kind of sacrifice either color or the shape of the object when I was making this house. And so it was a little bit disappointing, but I decided to make this house because, like I said, I'm taking a small break from Wisteria Lane and I wanted to make something different. I actually have the next house recorded. I just haven't done like the voiceover for it. But I was like, I just made this half-hour long video on Wisteria Lane and I'm just a little bit sick and tired of talking about it, even though it is definitely my favorite show. But I was just kind of losing interest in it, losing steam. So I'm going to take a little break and then be back at it next week. I've got about 5 more houses left to do. Either 4 or 5. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do a specific house yet. I probably will. But so that's what I'm doing. Instead of that, I'm doing the Simpsons house here. The floor plan, you can find a lot of different screenshots of the floor plan, and there's also plenty of different, what's the word I'm looking for? Like interpretations of the floor plan online as well. Ones that I think artists have done and maybe some professionals, professional house builders have done floor plans of this or have put out floor plans of this. So that's what I followed. You can find those online already. And so that's what I used here. And for the most part, I followed it. And it turned out really, really well. I think the house it's much bigger than you might expect. I think out of the animated houses that I've done, I think this one is probably the one that translates the best to an actual like real life house floor plan. It looks like a real life house floor plan. The only difference is you have to go through the kitchen to get to like the final third right side of the house, like to go to the rumpus room or ruckus room and the garage. You have to go through the kitchen, which is kind of weird to me. That's not usually, I don't think houses usually have that. They don't usually have it. So you have to go through a specific room to get to another room like that. At least more modern houses don't do that anymore. But I think this house is supposed to be definitely like an older house anyway. So that makes sense. But this house here, I'm working on the very famous living room area. I do change the color of that couch. I meant to put in the oranger one that looks very much like the couch that the Simpsons are always on. And I changed that in a little bit. The colors for the curtains, I really like. I love that yellow color in general. I think if I had an actual house, I'd probably have, my own yellow curtains like that somewhere, maybe not everywhere, but I was so happy that at least the curtains matched perfectly. They have yellow curtains pretty much throughout the entire house in this TV show, at least based on the screenshots that I've seen. So I was very, very happy to find that. It was kind of sad though, because you can see that bay window area. I couldn't find any yellow curtains for that area, which made me kind of sad. I was kind of sad though too, because I saw people creating this house. I created this house once already in 2019, and I made it base game only. I think it looks pretty good. But I saw people creating this house recently on one of the Sims pages that I follow on Facebook. And people were posting really, really good versions of this house with this bay window, not the base game one, but this bay window that I was like, oh, I have that. I'm pretty sure that window comes with Get Together. That's going to be great. I'll just use that. And so then when I went to go get the stuff together for this house and decide what I was going to do, I was very disappointed to find out that the window that I was planning on using for the bay window, I actually do not have. I was so disappointed. I've said multiple times, I don't actually have all of the packs by any stretch for The Sims 4. I don't have that much money, and I don't have a very good computer, so I have to keep things, I have to make sure I don't have all the packs, or else it's really going to bog down my Sims experience and my gaming experience and just being on the computer in general. But I was so sad. So I don't actually know where that bay window came from. Looking back, it may have come from Romantic Garden stuff. I think that's the pack. That I don't have that one. In fact, the only stuff pack I have is I don't even know if I have any stuff packs. Unless is Tiny Living a stuff pack? Because I have Tiny Living, so I might have that one. I do have that one, and then I have Parenthood, so the game pack, and then I have the expansions, except for the 2 newest ones. So I don't really have that much. Long story short, with the bay windows, I really did not want to have to use the base game bay windows. I don't like those windows at all. They're cute, but they would not match this house. Even though this house is supposed to have bay windows, those bay windows just aren't right. So I decided to make them like an actual part of the house, the windows, I mean. So you can see in this dining room area that they bump out like to 2 diagonals, and then there's one in the front. And I think it looks okay. It's not perfect, obviously. And I was sad because those bay windows that I saw online actually really do match, and they've got like a little roof overhang part, and I love it, and I was so excited to use them, and I don't have them. So I did have to make a compromise there. So that's one of the other reasons that I'm calling this house a loose interpretation. Like you can get it if you look closely and you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, I guess that could be Simpsons, but it also could not be. What can you do? Sometimes, and especially in Sims 4, you just got to do what you got to do. So whatever. Right here, I am building Marge and Homer's master bedroom. The furniture for this house, the colors for it in this room especially, don't really match what is supposed to be in the TV show. And again, I've already explained that, but it's because of the color wheel problem. But I did pick stuff that at least works for the room itself. So it might not look exactly like how it's quote unquote supposed to as suggested in the TV show, but I really did the best that I could. And I think it works. And I think if you actually have the items that you need for this house to work, you can definitely easily replace it. And one thing I really, really like about this house too is that even if you don't like the furnishings or the wall color or the flooring or whatever, but you like the floor plan of it, you can easily change that out. In fact, that's something I might actually do, because I really do like the floor plan of this house and the shape of it. I know it's very square, which makes it very easy to like, because it's not controversial or anything. It looks like a very basic house, but I really like it. And I almost wish like I had this house. I feel like I say that a lot, but I really do like a lot of things about this house. And it's very big. It's, like I said before, it's much bigger than you might have already thought, but whatever, I digress. You can see here, I didn't quite use the quote unquote correct windows either. I did decide I didn't want to use the base game windows that probably look more accurate. I decided not to use those because those big windows have this weird like gray inset on them. It's like the outside of the frame is brown, like it should be, at least based on this TV show. And then the interior part of the window, like I said, has this brown, this gray part. And I don't understand why they did that. Why did we not just get one color, be it white or black or brown or whatever? I don't know why I really don't. And I don't usually use those windows, the huge frame windows. I just didn't like them. So I decided to use something, different windows instead, which again factors into why I'm just calling this a loose interpretation. But I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now. But here I added a little bit of landscaping to the house, not too much, because the original house doesn't actually have that much landscaping anyway. I think there's supposed to be a tree house in the back, but I decided not to put it in because I don't actually know how. I think people have built tree houses in Sims 4, but I did not want to do it. I just put a tree in the back. And I think it works. And I like the yard. I think the yard it's very big. It's on a 40 by 30 lot. I think in the screenshots here that are coming up, you'll see photos that I found on the gallery of people who have somehow imported the Simpsons. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like just pictures of the Simpsons right there. You can see it on top of the fireplace, but I did end up taking those out because then it was being labeled as CC, and I did not want that. So anyway, I'm going to cut off here, but if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe to my channel at Carl Dillinson. I just passed 80 subscribers the other day, which is so crazy to me. Thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you would subscribe, but I will still love you even if you don't. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.